What if I told you that everything you know about AI is a lie? You've been inside the Matrix for so long that these revelations we're about to give you throughout this video will shock you. The things that will unfold about AI companies will send waves of adrenaline and cortisol in your brain and make you think twice before ever using ChatGPT again. So you better be ready to hear this out. From privacy concerns to exploiting poor countries, here are 10 secrets AI companies don't want you to know about. The exploitation of third world labor. One of the biggest secrets that you might not know about is the many practices of exploitation that big tech companies do to train their AI systems. We can see examples of this with how OpenAI, a $29 billion company, tried to make their bot ChatGPT less toxic using workers from the African nation of Kenya. These workers were getting paid a mere $1 to $2 an hour, and their job was to clean out thousands of snippets of text sent from OpenAI to an outsourcing firm in Kenya called SAMA in 2021. According to Time magazine, the employees described the text they have worked with as horrifying. They explained that they had to endure reading out graphic, disturbing pages about child sexual abuse, bestiality, murder, suicide, torture, self-harm, and incest. The workers' names remain a secret, as they want to remain anonymous in fear of losing their jobs. SAMA, or SAMA, is also working with a lot of other big tech companies you are familiar with. Mark Zuckerberg's company Meta was subcontracted with SAMA. They worked together in order to moderate content on the social media giants Facebook and Instagram. SAMA's content moderators contracted by Meta in Kenya are monitored through surveillance software to ensure that they make accurate decisions about things like violence in videos within just 50 seconds, regardless of the length of the video or how disturbing it is. Imagine how difficult that can be. On top of that, sources say that failure to do so could result in termination after a few violations. One case involves a former SAMA employee who was laid off for organizing a strike in 2019 over poor working conditions and pay. In a demand letter seen by TechCrunch accusing the subcontractor of violating various rights, including that of health and privacy of Kenyan and international staff. Speaking of privacy, let's talk about how the companies violate users' personal information. But first, let's see how they gather data to train their AI, shall we? How does an AI company gather data? The biggest misconception that people might have about AI is that it holds all the answers to questions about the world, like a genie ready to spew out information to any topic you have in mind. When in reality, AI is not that capable of generating correct information in a consistent manner. This is of course related to the problem of data collection, how artificial intelligence companies train their models to gather and scrape the different data found online. The AI language model ChatGPT, for example, is powered by information scraped from the internet. We're talking about an estimated 45 terabytes of text data absorbed from every corner of the World Wide Web, Reddit, Wikipedia, blogs, probably even your auntie's Facebook posts. Based on this, ChatGPT predicts what you want to read in response to your prompts. In other words, it is not trained to provide accurate answers. It is trained to provide statistically probable answers. Imagine it being like a big stochastic parrot. At least, this is what this article from Digital Library called it. This big operation of data gathering made by AI companies is controversial to say the least, especially if we're talking about violating personal and private user information. The privacy issues that AI has. In March of this year, Italy banned ChatGPT from its territory over privacy concerns. This ban was only lifted after several changes made by OpenAI to protect users' private data. We've talked about this extensively in a previous video. It's no wonder that high-tech companies want to keep private data collection a secret. We've seen waves of this happening with government surveillance programs, social media companies like Facebook and Instagram, and this trend is continuing during this AI hype era. While companies like OpenAI, Microsoft, and Google don't intentionally suck out everything about your private life in order to resell it to advertisers, Yet, this is still a big issue. You see, it's this gathering of information from the internet and this lack of transparency from these AI companies that make experts worried. The Italian authorities says that OpenAI is not being transparent about how it collects users' data during post-training phase, such as in chat logs of their interactions with ChatGPT. These robotic systems rely, as we said, on data obtained from the web, personal information such as names, addresses, financial information, and sensitive information such as medical records and social security numbers. Data breaches and unauthorized access to personal information via hacking these systems could lead to a terrible outcome. This gathering and scraping of info from the internet might be concerning also in terms of generating. Artificial intelligence is using data found on the internet, and it is also collecting what people put online from their personal opinions and agendas. Machine learning bias is a phenomenon that arises when an algorithm delivers systematically biased results as a consequence of this data gathering that we have talked about. In the US, an AI algorithm analyzed the medical history of 200 million people to predict patients requiring additional medical care. It failed to consider how black and white patients pay for healthcare differently. Consequently, African Americans received lower risk scores compared to their white counterparts. An article from Science 2 from 2019 highlights that black patients are more likely to bear the costs of active interventions such as emergency hospital visits. Other examples include Amazon's automated recruitment system, which was intended to evaluate applicants based on their suitability for various roles. Because women had previously been underrepresented in technical roles, the AI system thought that male applicants were consciously preferred. Consequently, it penalized resumes of female applicants with a lower rating. AI is affecting our society nowadays, even with our job applications. It is safe to say that this technology can disrupt a lot of what we do as a society. Disruption of industries. AI companies also don't want to hear about the damage that artificial intelligence is doing to our economy. While it can be beneficial, as you might believe, statistically speaking, machines are doing more harm to the economy and our employment rate that you can ever imagine. There is a big disruption in a lot of sectors of our world's economy as companies are letting their employees off and replacing them with machines and robots. By 2030, experts predict that AI could replace up to 300 million full-time jobs in the automotive industry alone. With how advanced AI has become in fulfilling human tasks, this scary number can be far away from fiction. We've seen how algorithms can disrupt the creative industries from music to art, and how lawsuits are being thrown out by musicians and artists against AI companies. We've also talked about this in previous videos. Soon enough, many of our day-to-day jobs will be autonomously run by machines, from journalism to policing to teaching to building houses. Concerns like these are what worry experts. What worries them is also the vast expanding energy consumption. As you may know, AI power consumption is increasing bit by bit, and this can be a very bad effect on our planet. Energy consumption and pollution. Carlos Gómez Rodriguez, a Spanish professor of computer science and artificial intelligence, said this: generative AI produces more emissions than ordinary search engines, which also consume a lot of energy because they are complex systems that crawl through millions of web pages. Whoever says that AI does not have any effect on the world's climate is either ignorant or lying. Because a couple of years ago, the carbon footprint of the computer industry caught up with the aviation industry. Training a natural language processing model produces emissions equivalent to the lifetimes of 5 gasoline-burning cars, from the factory to the junkyard, or 125 round-trip flights between Beijing and New York. A study published in Nature found that Google required 4.17 billion gallons, or 15.8 billion liters of water to cool its data centers in 2021, while Microsoft used almost a billion gallons, or 3.6 billion liters. Rare metals are extracted from mines worldwide and used to make electronic components too. Don't forget about that. Electric depletion. As the demand for more advanced artificial intelligence systems began to skyrocket these past couple of years, power depletion became sort of an issue that Silicon Valley is not talking about. AI technologies have been contributing to a significant increase in global electric energy consumption, leading to concerns about environmental sustainability. These data centers we talked about require massive amounts of electricity to power and cool their servers. According to studies, data centers consumed approximately 1% of the world's electricity in 2020, and this figure is expected to rise in the coming years. Another example is the energy consumption of AI-enabled devices such as smartphones, smart speakers, and autonomous vehicles. These devices rely on AI algorithms to perform complex tasks, but the computational power required for AI operations contributes to increased energy consumption. Many parts of the world experience shortages in electric supply, and it is really concerning that AI companies are not taking ethical measures into consideration, which leads to talking about maximizing profit over safety. In the last few years, since the subject of artificial intelligence started moving from the world of science into the realms of business and profit, many experts call out the risks involved with the obsession of manufacturing more sophisticated AI. Elon Musk signed an open letter alongside Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak and other tech leaders advocating a 6-month pause in AI development. The letter, published on the Musk-funded Future of Life Institute's website, warned against the potential risks of AI systems with human competitive intelligence could pose to society and humanity. Safety measures such as rigorous testing, ethical considerations, and unbiased data collection can be overlooked in the race to maximize profitability. What AI companies won't tell you is that they are mainly doing this for profit, as many businesses would do really. But ignoring ethical and safety measures can be a real problem. If you can't provide a safe work environment for your employees, or you can't protect users' private data while you're focused on increasing your company's net worth, then that's an issue. That is what's called an AI arms race. Many Silicon Valley companies are literally racing to invent more prosperous machines to lead the world and grab the technology thrown over their heads. If you want to see more about the arms race, check out this video. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this one, like and subscribe. Until next time.